Who are you guys? Well, which one is it, friend?
Officer dining area, deck 3.
Thought you were done with this life. I'll have a look. Thank you.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the explosive world of Expend4bles, where the bullets fly faster than plot holes and the explosions are as plentiful as bad guys. We're talking about a movie that knows exactly what it is, a gloriously over-the-top action fest designed to make your ears ring and your adrenaline pump. We'll be breaking down every crunch, every boom, and every one-liner delivered with a gravelly voice, tracing the path of our favorite old-school mercs and their surprisingly fresh new blood. This isn't just a recap, it's a front-row seat to the chaos, narrated with all the enthusiasm of a kid in a candy store, if the candy store also stocked bazookas and tactical knives. So buckle up, because things are about to get loud, messy, and ridiculously fun. If you liked this sneak peek, hit the like button and subscribe. It's the best way to support the channel and let me know you want more.
Us hero. This one I got. Yeah. A decent plan right now.
We never make.
I got an idea. We can take.
Gunner, give us cover fire. We're
Never mind.
It's his decision to make.
Sir, we're headed back up.
Lady. Go, go!
Barney.
Kill me! You will? The fucking...
Get up, Lee.
He's hot.
Be hunting.
We're on it.
A lot of ops.
Less my less.
Vermont's got the detonators.
Good. Yo, huevos.
Can you listen?
Speed up.
I can improvise. You'll live.
Maybe not.
One more and we're on Vermont. What the fuck, Easy? Initial success.
They're on the west side, heading north.
Cover me! I'll leave you behind.
Stay on mission. That's an order.
What's wrong with this now?
Where is General Fizan?
Do you fight for both? Who will live to tell? Well, you got your back. Where's your back? Where's your back?
But you had a bad back.
I like spending time with you.
Sir.
The adventure kicks off, as all good Expendables movies do, in a dusty, sun-baked corner of the world, this time Libya. We see Barney Ross, played by Sylvester Stallone, still rocking that rugged, slightly world-weary charm, piloting his beloved plane. Beside him sits his longtime compatriot Lee Christmas, played by Jason Statham, looking as sharp and ready for a fight as ever. The rest of the classic crew is there too. Gunnar Jensen, Dolph Lundgren, who seems to have finally embraced therapy, even if it's just for his trigger finger, and Toll Road, Randy Couture, the gentle giant who always looks like he's about to wrestle a bear, but would rather just fix a transmission. This opening scene immediately establishes the familiar camaraderie, the kind forged in 1,000 firefights, though you can already hear the faint groan of a recurring gag involving Christmas and a particularly stubborn set of plane controls. Their mission? to intercept some stolen nuclear detonators before they fall into the wrong hands. The intel points them to a compound where a ruthless terrorist named Rahmat, Iko Uwais, is allegedly making a deal. The team prepares for insertion, the familiar click and clack of weapons being armed echoing in the cramped plane cabin. Christmas, ever the pragmatist, ensures his knives are perfectly weighted, a subtle glint catching the light. As they approach the target, the tension mounts, a low hum beneath the thrumming engines. Barney, ever the leader, gives the signal. Christmas is the first one out, a shadow dropping silently into the compound, his movements precise and deadly. He moves through the darkened corridors, dispatching guards with the efficiency of a well-oiled machine, each thud and choked gasp barely audible above the distant rumble of the base. Gunner and Toll Road follow, a more direct, brute force approach, their heavy footsteps punctuated by the sharp cracks of suppressed gunfire. You can almost feel the concussive force of each shot, the slight vibration through the ground as bullets find their mark. The team converges on the main building, a flurry of coordinated violence. Doors are kicked in with splintering force. Enemies are disarmed and taken down with practiced ease. It's a symphony of chaos, each member playing their part perfectly. Gunner, with a slightly unhinged grin, unleashes a barrage of bullets, covering his teammates. Toll Road, a rock of muscle, slams through opponents, the sounds of bone meeting flesh sickeningly clear. They soon find Rahmat, a man who moves with a terrifying grace, clearly not someone to be underestimated. He's surrounded by his heavily armed goons, and the room explodes into a full-blown firefight. Bullets tear through the air, spitting sparks against concrete and metal. The clatter of spent casings mixes with the shouts and groans of combatants. Christmas, in his element, ducks and weaves, his knives appearing and disappearing with lethal speed. He's a whirlwind of motion, a blur of silver and muscle, taking down multiple assailants in close quarters. It's the kind of fight choreography that reminds you why these movies exist: pure, unadulterated, beautifully executed mayhem. However, Rahmat proves to be a slippery adversary. He fights back with an impressive display of martial arts, matching Christmas's speed and precision. The two engage in a brutal hand-to-hand exchange, each blow carrying visible weight, the grunts of exertion audible as they trade strikes. It's a dance of death, precise and devastating. Christmas manages to corner him, his knife pressed against Rahmat's throat, but before he can extract information, something goes wrong. A miscalculation, a momentary lapse, and Rahmat slips away, making off with the detonators. As if that wasn't bad enough, a massive explosion rocks the compound. Barney, who had been providing air support, swoops in, calling out for an extraction. The ground beneath their feet trembles, and plumes of smoke and debris erupt around them. It's a race against time to get out of there, the air thick with the smell of burning fuel and cordite. The team scrambles onto the plane, but then comes the gut punch. Amidst the chaos, Toll Road is caught in a secondary explosion. The deafening roar of the blast, followed by an agonizing silence, hangs heavy in the air. Barney, with a look of pure anguish, is forced to fly away, leaving his friend behind. The metallic clang of the plane door shutting feels like a final, crushing punctuation mark on their failure and loss. It's a genuinely shocking moment, a reminder that even the Expendables aren't invincible, and that every mission carries a real, painful cost. Back in the dimly lit sanctity of their usual bar, the weight of Toll Road's death hangs heavy over the remaining Expendables. The usual boisterous laughter and clinking of glasses are replaced by a somber silence, broken only by the mournful clink of Barney pouring another drink. Lee Christmas, usually stoic, looks haunted, his jaw clenched so tight you can almost hear his teeth grind. Gunner, for all his eccentricities, is visibly distraught, his eyes red-rimmed. The air itself feels thick with unspoken grief and guilt. Then comes the call from Marsh, Andy Garcia, their CIA handler, a man whose patience seems as thin as his hairline. He's not here to offer condolences, but to deliver a harsh reality check. Marsh lambasts them for the botched mission, for losing the detonators, and most importantly, for the catastrophic loss of life and property. The cold, unfeeling tone of his voice contrasts sharply with the team's raw emotion, adding fuel to the fire of their frustration. He tells Barney, in no uncertain terms, that the team is officially disbanded. The Expendables, as they know them, are over. This news hits Barney hard, not just professionally, but personally. His team is his family, and to have it ripped apart, especially after losing Toll Road, is a devastating blow. The scene highlights the internal struggle of a leader who feels responsible for his team's fate. He slams his glass down, the sharp crack echoing in the quiet bar. He tries to argue, to plead, but Marsh is unyielding. The decision is final. No more missions, no more Expendables. Christmas, ever the hothead, tries to stand up for Barney, but his frustration boils over, manifesting as an outburst against his friend. He blames Barney for the mission's failure, for trusting his gut over concrete intel, for leading them into a trap that cost them Toll Road. The dialogue is sharp, cutting, fueled by grief and the blame game that often follows tragedy. The accusations sting, and Barney, usually quick to retort, simply absorbs them, the weight of command pressing down on him. The argument quickly escalates, threatening to tear apart their already fragile bond. It's the kind of raw, emotional scene that adds a layer of depth to these otherwise action-heavy characters, reminding us that even hardened mercenaries feel the sting of betrayal and loss. In the midst of this heated exchange, Marsh delivers another bombshell. Christmas is being held responsible for the mission's failure too. He's suspended from active duty, effectively sidelined. This decision, seemingly made to appease higher-ups, only further isolates Christmas, making him feel like a scapegoat. The injustice of it all hangs in the air, a silent accusation against a system that often sacrifices its pawns. Barney, reeling from the loss of Toll Road, the disbandment of his team, and now the rift with Christmas, is at his lowest. He makes a fateful decision, one that seems to confirm his acceptance of their new reality. He gives Christmas his prized lucky ring, a symbol of their friendship and the team's legacy. It's a quiet, poignant moment, filled with a sense of finality. The metallic clink of the ring as Christmas takes it feels like the closing of a chapter. Barney tells Christmas that he's done, that this life is no longer for him. It's a statement born of profound weariness and sorrow. As Barney leaves the bar, presumably to disappear into the quiet anonymity he craves, Christmas watches him go, the ring heavy in his palm. The distant wail of a police siren seems to mock the silence, a reminder of the world's continued chaos despite their personal devastation. Moments later, a news report blares across the bar's television screen. Barney Ross's plane has crashed, engulfed in a fiery explosion, leaving no survivors. The screen shows a terrifying plume of black smoke against a blue sky, the unmistakable sign of a catastrophic failure. The news reporter's detached voice pronounces him dead, a stark contrast to the living, breathing legend his friends knew. The news hits Christmas like a physical blow. The ring suddenly feels like a cursed object. His friend, his leader, his surrogate father figure is gone. The rage and grief that had been simmering beneath the surface boil over into a furious, guttural roar. He smashes a bottle against the wall, the glass shattering with a violent spray, a raw expression of his helplessness and sorrow. The bar, which had been a sanctuary, now feels like a tomb. But Christmas, being Christmas, can't just sit there and mourn. The injustice of it all, the suddenness of Barney's death, and the lingering questions about Ramat and the detonators gnaw at him. He starts to suspect something deeper, something beyond a simple plane crash. His internal detective mode kicks in, a subtle shift in his usually straightforward demeanor. The weight of the ring in his hand becomes less a burden and more a motivator. He decides, with a steely glint in his eye, that he's going to investigate. He's going to find out what really happened, no matter the cost. His personal quest begins, driven by loyalty, grief, and a burning need for answers. The sounds of a city continuing its indifferent rhythm outside the bar only solidify his resolve. The world might move on, but Lee Christmas won't rest until he knows the truth. Christmas, now a man without a team and without a purpose, save for his burning need for answers, finds himself adrift. His suspension means he's off the official grid, but that just means he's free to operate in the shadows, unburdened by rules or regulations. He starts his own quiet investigation, piecing together fragments of information, chasing down leads that the official channels would ignore. He uses his underworld contacts, his network of shady characters and information brokers, people who operate in the gray areas where the truth often hides. The whispered conversations, the clink of coins exchanging hands, the nervous glances in dimly lit alleys, it's a whole different kind of espionage, gritty and personal.
He follows a convoluted trail that eventually leads him to Thailand. The vibrant chaos of Bangkok is a stark contrast to the grim determination etched on his face. The sounds of tuk-tuks zipping by, the smell of street food, the cacophony of a bustling market, it's all just background noise to his singular focus. He's looking for a specific contact, someone known for their ability to acquire anything. His pursuit takes him to an illegal fight club, a den of raw, brutal energy. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, stale beer, and the metallic tang of blood. The crowd roars, a primal symphony accompanying each bone-jarring punch and kick. The crack of knuckles against flesh, the muffled thud of bodies hitting the mat. It's an environment Christmas understands. He's not there for the fights, though. He's looking for someone who can help him find Ramat, or at least point him in the right direction. He navigates the throng of gamblers and thugs, his eyes scanning, assessing, always on guard. Suddenly, he finds himself face to face with Lash, Levi Tran, a new addition to the Expendables universe. She's introduced with a flourish, not as a damsel in distress, but as a formidable fighter, lean and quick, her movements as fluid as they are dangerous. She's trading blows with some unfortunate soul in the ring, each strike delivered with practiced precision and a hint of controlled fury. The crowd erupts as she finishes her opponent with a devastating kick, the sound of impact almost visceral. Their meeting is far from friendly. Christmas, still on edge from Barney's death and the general betrayal, is suspicious. Lash, for her part, is wary, her eyes sharp and assessing. They exchange terse words, a dance of veiled threats and mistrust. He needs her help, but she's not easily convinced, suspecting he's just another loose cannon. The air crackles with unspoken tension, a simmering conflict waiting for an excuse to explode. Just as their standoff reaches a peak, the place is raided by a different group of shadowy figures, Marsh's new Expendables team. This is a significant moment, showing the new generation stepping into the old crew's shoes. We're introduced to the rest of the new blood. Gina, Megan Fox, Christmas's ex-girlfriend, leading the charge with a steely gaze and an uncompromising demeanor. Easy Day, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, the tech expert with a smooth swagger, and Mars, Jacob Scipio, a sharpshooter who moves with an almost balletic grace. There's also Galan, Jason Statham's real-life son, in a fun meta-touch, who is more comic relief than hardened pillar, but he tries his best.
The raid quickly turns into a multi-directional brawl. Marsh's team is there to apprehend Lash, seeing her as a valuable asset, or perhaps a threat to be neutralized. Christmas, caught in the middle, finds himself fighting alongside Lash, a strange, temporary alliance forged in the heat of combat. It's a beautifully choreographed sequence, with various fighting styles clashing. Christmas uses his signature knives, Lash employs her acrobatic kicks and lightning-fast strikes, while Gina and the others showcase a more tactical, firearms-heavy approach. The sounds of punches connecting, the grunt of effort, the sharp crack of firearms, and the splintering of wooden furniture create a cacophony of violence. Amidst the chaos, Gina and Christmas inevitably cross paths. Their reunion is explosive, not with passion, but with residual anger and unspoken history. Their verbal sparring is as sharp as their physical movements, revealing a complicated past. They fight each other for a moment, a whirlwind of trained violence and emotional baggage, before realizing they are on the same side, or at least should be. The dynamic between them adds a layer of personal drama to the high-octane action. Marsh eventually steps in, stopping the fighting. He reveals that he knows Christmas is off the grid and investigating, and he also knows about Lash's connections. He's not here to arrest them, but to recruit them. He needs their combined skills for a new mission, one that involves finding Ramat and retrieving those damn detonators. The stakes are higher than ever, with global security hanging in the balance. Marsh lays out the mission with his usual no-nonsense attitude, painting a grim picture of what will happen if they fail. Christmas, still driven by the desire for answers and revenge for Barney, reluctantly agrees to join. Lash, seeing an opportunity for her own reasons, also agrees. The new team, a blend of old grudges and fresh faces, is formed, ready to confront the ghosts of the past and the threats of the present. The metallic click of guns being reloaded signifies their grim determination. With the new team assembled, albeit with some lingering tension between Christmas and Gina, Marsh lays out the grim reality of their mission. Ramat, the elusive terrorist, has vanished, and with him, the nuclear detonators. Marsh's intel suggests Ramat is planning something truly catastrophic, aiming to destabilize global powers. The weight of potential nuclear war hangs heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the stakes. The atmosphere in their makeshift command center is serious, the usual banter replaced by focused determination. The low hum of computers and the quiet rustle of maps being unrolled underscore the gravity of their task.
The plan is multifaceted, requiring both brute force and high-tech infiltration. Easy Day, with his impressive array of gadgets and hacking skills, takes the lead on the technological front. He sets up a portable command center, a flurry of glowing screens and blinking lights, transforming an ordinary room into a hub of digital intelligence. The rapid tap-tap-tap of his fingers on the keyboard is the only sound as he sifts through encrypted data, his eyes darting across lines of code. He manages to pinpoint a potential location for Ramat, a remote, heavily fortified island compound. The satellite images reveal a maze of buildings and defensive positions, making it clear this won't be a walk in the park. The team begins their preparations, each member focusing on their area of expertise. Gina, ever the strategist, meticulously reviews blueprints and tactical maps, her finger tracing potential infiltration routes. Lash sharpens her already razor-sharp blades, the soft scrape of metal on stone, a strangely calming sound amidst the escalating tension. Mars checks his sniper rifle with the precision of a surgeon, ensuring every component is perfect, the subtle click of the bolt echoing in the quiet. Even Gunner, somehow reinstated or perhaps just showing up because he heard there was a party, oils his favorite machine gun, humming a discordant tune. The camaraderie, though different from the original team, begins to solidify, forged in the shared purpose of stopping a global catastrophe. As they finalize their plan, Christmas, unable to shake his suspicion about Barney's death, starts digging deeper into the initial mission's failure. He's haunted by the details, the timeline, the way Ramat seemed to anticipate their moves. He corners Easy Day, urging him to re-examine the flight recorder data from Barney's crashed plane, specifically looking for anomalies. Easy Day, initially resistant to questioning the official narrative, eventually agrees, intrigued by Christmas's intensity. The soft whirring of the data drive as it's accessed is almost imperceptible, yet it signifies a crucial turning point. Meanwhile, the new team departs for the island, leaving Christmas behind. The roar of the plane's engines fills the air as they take off, a poignant symbol of Christmas being left on the sidelines,
literally and figuratively. He watches them go, a grim determination etched on his face, convinced that his own investigation is just as vital. The team arrives at the island, deploying under the cover of darkness. The waves crash against the rocky shore, a rhythmic pulse accompanying their silent approach. They infiltrate the compound with textbook precision. Gina leads the ground team, moving through the shadows like ghosts. Easy Day uses his tech to disable security cameras and hack into internal comms. The soft beep of his devices the only sound breaking the silence. Mars takes up a sniper position, his rifle scope sweeping the perimeter, the almost imperceptible click of its adjustment ring betraying his vigilance. Gunner provides heavy fire support, a low growl escaping his lips as he spots a target, his weapon delivering a swift, loud crack. They clear various sections of the compound, the action fast-paced and brutal. Hand-to-hand combat is interwoven with precise gunplay. Lash performs incredible acrobatic maneuvers, using the environment to her advantage, a blur of motion as she disarms and neutralizes guards. The thud of bodies hitting the ground, the muffled screams, the sharp, controlled bursts of gunfire create a tense atmosphere. However, as they delve deeper, things start to go sideways, because of course they do. The compound turns out to be more heavily defended than anticipated. Alarms blare, piercing the night with their shrill cry. Flashing red lights illuminate the corridors, transforming the infiltration into a desperate fight for survival. The team finds themselves pinned down, bullets ricocheting off their cover, the metallic clang a constant, deafening reminder of their predicament. They fight their way through waves of Rahmat's men, showcasing their individual skills in a symphony of coordinated destruction. Gina uses tactical explosives, the concussive force rattling the very foundations of the building. Easy Day, while still hacking, also proves adept with a sidearm, his shots surprisingly accurate for a tech guy. Mars picks off targets with uncanny precision from his perch, the distant thud of his rifle contrasting with the close-quarters mayhem. Just as the situation seems to be spiraling out of control, they finally confront Rahmat. He's not alone. He's surrounded by more heavily armed guards. The ensuing firefight is intense, a swirling maelstrom of bullets and bodies. The air is thick with the smell of gunpowder and the shouts of combat. Gina, Lash, and Gunner engage in brutal close-quarters combat, their movements fluid and deadly. Rahmat, true to form, proves to be an incredibly skilled fighter, holding his own against multiple attackers. He disarms and incapacitates several of the new recruits with his martial arts prowess, a terrifying display of controlled violence. The thud of his kicks, the sharp crack of his elbows, and the surprised gasps of his opponents punctuate the chaotic scene. The team manages to subdue Rahmat, but the victory is short-lived. Just as they're about to extract the detonators and secure him, a chilling revelation unfolds. Rahmat reveals that he's merely a pawn, a distraction. The real mastermind, the shadowy figure known as Ocelot, has been pulling the strings all along. And worse, Ocelot has already taken the detonators and is en route to a massive cargo ship where he plans to launch a devastating attack. The blood drains from the team's faces as the implications sink in. The sounds of distant sirens, previously a threat, now seem like a mocking call, too late to prevent the impending disaster. The victory they thought they had achieved crumbles to dust, leaving behind a bitter taste of failure. Back at the temporary command center, Christmas is still relentlessly pursuing his own investigation, poring over the flight recorder data with Easy Day. The dull glow of the monitor casts shadows across their faces as they examine the readouts. Easy Day, initially skeptical, starts to see the inconsistencies Christmas has been pointing out. The official report states that Barney's plane suffered a mechanical failure, but the data tells a different story. There's a subtle but unmistakable anomaly, a digital ghost in the machine. Suddenly, a hidden message is deciphered from the black box.
Not a distress call, but a pre-recorded message from Barney himself. His voice, gravelly but clear, fills the room. He explains his plan. He faked his death, knowing that Rakhmat, and more importantly, Ocelot, would only reveal their true intentions if they believed the Expendables were out of the picture. He knew they'd come for him, so he used himself as bait, a sacrificial lamb to draw out the real enemy. The sound of his voice, alive and determined, hits Christmas like a physical blow, a mix of relief and profound frustration. He's alive, but he was playing a dangerous, solitary game, keeping his closest friend in the dark. It's the ultimate Barney move, a high-stakes gamble only he would take. Just as this shocking revelation sinks in, Marsh contacts Christmas. The new team has been ambushed and captured on the cargo ship, and Ocelot is preparing to launch a full-scale nuclear attack. The clock is ticking, and the world is on the brink of nuclear annihilation. The urgent tone in Marsh's voice, usually so composed, underscores the dire situation. The fate of millions rests on their shoulders. Christmas, now armed with the truth about Barney and a renewed sense of purpose, springs into action. He knows he has to save his friends and stop Ocelot. He contacts Gunner, who, predictably, wasn't captured with the new team because he's Gunner. Gunner is already making his way towards the ship, having sensed something was amiss. The metallic clack of Gunner loading a fresh belt of ammo into his machine gun is a sound of grim determination. Christmas then enlists the help of an unlikely ally, Dacia, a former mercenary and Barney's old friend, now living a quiet life as a mechanic. Christmas finds him in a grimy garage, surrounded by the familiar scent of oil and gasoline. Dacia, played by Tony Jaa, is a force of nature in his own right, and initially he's reluctant to rejoin the fray, haunted by his own past. But when Christmas tells him about Barney's sacrifice and the impending nuclear disaster, Dacia's eyes harden with resolve. The low rumble of an engine being revved in the background seems to awaken his own dormant warrior spirit. He agrees to help, his movements fluid and purposeful as he begins to arm himself. The plan is simple, yet incredibly dangerous. Infiltrate the cargo ship, rescue the team, and stop Ocelot from launching the missiles. Christmas and Dacia acquire a speedboat, cutting through the choppy waters under the cover of night. The roar of the engine, the spray of salt water, and the chilling glint of moonlight on their weapons set a tense, urgent atmosphere. They breach the ship, a massive metal beast cutting through the dark ocean. The interior is a labyrinth of steel corridors and echoing compartments. They move with stealth and precision, a silent, deadly duo. Dacia, with his unparalleled martial arts skills, takes down guards with brutal efficiency, each punch and kick delivered with a sickening crunch. Christmas, meanwhile, uses his knives and firearms, a blur of motion and steel. The metallic clang of weapons, the muffled cries of surprised guards, and the subtle creak of the ship's hull create a tense soundscape. They locate the captured Expendables, held in a fortified section of the ship. The sight of his friends, bruised but defiant, reignites Christmas's fury. He and Dacia execute a daring rescue, dispatching the guards with a flurry of coordinated attacks. Gina, Lash, and the others, once freed, immediately grab their weapons and join the fight, a fresh wave of adrenaline pumping through them. The sound of their weapons being armed, the familiar click and slide, is a small, satisfying symphony of reunion and resolve. Now, the reunited team, a blend of old and new, faces their ultimate challenge, Ocelot. They track him to the ship's bridge, where he's surrounded by his elite guard, the launch sequence already counting down on a massive screen. The ominous red glow of the timer casts a sinister light on the tense scene. The air crackles with anticipation, the stakes impossibly high. The final battle erupts in a deafening crescendo of gunfire, explosions, and brutal hand-to-hand combat. The ship's bridge becomes a war zone, a chaotic ballet of violence. The metallic clang of bullets against the ship's bulkhead, the sharp crack of exploding consoles, and the shouts of combatants fill the confined space. They locate the captured Expendables, held in a fortified section of the ship. The sight of his friends, bruised but defiant, reignites Christmas's fury. He and Daecha execute a daring rescue, dispatching the guards with a flurry of coordinated attacks. Gina, Lash, and the others, once freed, immediately grab their weapons and join the fight, a fresh wave of adrenaline pumping through them. The sound of their weapons being armed, the familiar click and slide, is a small, satisfying symphony of reunion and resolve. Now, the reunited team, a blend of old and new, faces their ultimate challenge, Ocelot. They track him to the ship's bridge, where he's surrounded by his elite guard, the launch sequence already counting down on a massive screen. The ominous red glow of the timer casts a sinister light on the tense scene. The air crackles with anticipation, the stakes impossibly high. The final battle erupts in a deafening crescendo of gunfire, explosions, and brutal hand-to-hand combat. The ship's bridge becomes a war zone, a chaotic ballet of violence. The metallic clang of bullets against the ship's bulkhead, the sharp crack of exploding consoles, and the shouts of combatants fill the confined space.
Christmas immediately engages Ramat, who is still on the bridge, perhaps serving as Ocelot's personal enforcer. Their previous encounter had been a stalemate, but this time, it's personal. The fight between Christmas and Ramat is a masterclass in close-quarters combat. Ramat, with his lightning-fast martial arts, moves like a viper, his strikes precise and powerful. Christmas, fueled by anger and the desire for revenge for Toll Road, fights with a raw, desperate intensity, his knives a blur of silver. The sounds of their bodies colliding, the grunts of exertion, and the occasional clang of metal as a knife deflects a blow make every moment feel incredibly real. They exchange a brutal series of kicks, punches, and takedowns, each blow carrying the weight of their past encounters. Meanwhile, Gina confronts Ocelot. This isn't just a physical fight, it's a battle of wits and wills. Ocelot, cold and calculating, reveals his full plan to instigate a global conflict that will reshape the world order. He's not just a terrorist, he's a nihilistic ideologue. Gina, however, is not easily deterred. She fights with a fierce determination, her movements precise and powerful, reflecting her military training. The sound of her fists connecting with Ocelot's guards is sharp and decisive. Daecha, Gunner, Lash, Easy Day, and Mars engage Ocelot's remaining forces in a swirling melee. Daecha is a whirlwind of devastating kicks and elbow strikes, his movements fluid and incredibly fast, each blow delivered with bone-shattering force. Gunner unleashes a barrage of heavy machine gun fire, his weapon a thunderous roar, sweeping through enemies like a destructive force. Lash uses her acrobatic skills, spinning and kicking, disarming opponents with graceful efficiency. Easy Day, surprisingly agile for a tech expert, uses a combination of clever tactics and surprisingly effective close combat, ducking and weaving while still offering tactical support. Mars picks off targets with pinpoint accuracy, his sniper rifle now a close-quarters weapon of devastating precision. The countdown continues on the screen, a relentless reminder of the impending disaster. The tension is palpable, a tight knot in the pit of your stomach. Explosions rip through sections of the bridge as the fighting intensifies, sending debris and sparks flying. The ship itself groans under the strain of the combat and the distant, concussive forces. Christmas finally corners Ramat. Their fight reaches its brutal climax. Christmas, managing to disarm Ramat, delivers a series of powerful, guttural punches, fueled by his grief and rage. Ramat, though injured, refuses to yield, his eyes burning with defiance. The final blow is delivered with a sickening thud, and Ramat collapses, defeated. Christmas stands over him, breathing heavily, his hands still trembling from the exertion and the emotional toll.
As Gina closes in on Ocelot, the true twist is revealed. Ocelot isn't just some shadowy figure. He's the same handler, Marsh, who initially disbanded the team. The betrayal is a bitter pill to swallow, adding a layer of personal anguish to the already high stakes. The revelation hits Gina with the force of a physical blow,
a moment of stunned disbelief amidst the chaos. The clatter of falling debris seems to mock the shocking truth. Marsh, now fully revealed as Ocelot, attempts to launch the missiles manually, a desperate final act. Gina, recovering from the shock, lunges at him, engaging in a furious, desperate struggle. The fate of the world hangs in the balance, quite literally. Their fight is a brutal, no-holds-barred exchange, fueled by betrayal and the ultimate goal. She uses her tactical training, her every move aimed at stopping him. The sharp clang of her fist against his jaw, the grunt of his exertion, the desperate scrabble of their hands on the launch console, it's a raw, visceral struggle. Just as Ocelot is about to trigger the launch, a figure emerges from the smoke and chaos. Barney Ross, alive and kicking. He's been hiding, waiting for the precise moment to strike, to ensure Ocelot's plan comes crashing down. The sight of him, still rugged and defiant, is a monumental moment, the culmination of his grand, dangerous gamble. He enters the fray, a classic action hero entrance, his presence immediately shifting the balance of power. The collective gasp of the team, quickly replaced by shouts of relief and renewed determination, reverberates through the damaged bridge. Barney, with the help of Christmas and Gina, finally corners Ocelot. The final confrontation is quick and decisive, a brutal end to the orchestrator of all this chaos. The precise crack of a well-placed shot from Barney, the satisfying thud as Ocelot falls, silence descending on the bridge, broken only by the fading beeps of the missile countdown, now disarmed. The mission accomplished, the world saved, and the team reunited. Barney, ever the understated leader, offers a wry smile, a silent apology for his deception, but a clear affirmation of his loyalty. Christmas, relieved and perhaps a little annoyed, punches him playfully, the sound of the contact a light-hearted symbol of their enduring friendship. The metallic clang of the ship's alarms, now slowly powering down, signifies the end of the immediate threat. The Expendables, though battered and bruised, stand victorious, having once again stared down the apocalypse and walked away. The distant wail of emergency sirens, this time is a sound of rescue, not regret. As the dust settles on the cargo ship, the sounds of battle replaced by the mournful creak of the damaged vessel, a quiet understanding washes over the surviving Expendables. They gather, battered and weary, but united by their shared ordeal. The air, still thick with the smell of cordite and the lingering tension of near disaster, slowly begins to clear. Barney Ross, having pulled off the ultimate disappearing act, stands amongst them, his presence a comforting anchor. There's a quiet exchange of glances, an unspoken apology for the deception, and a palpable sense of relief that he's alive. His gamble paid off, but not without immense personal cost to his friends. Christmas, ever the pragmatic one, probably still has a few choice words for Barney about the whole faking his own death thing, but it's clear the bond is unbroken. The new team members, Gina, Lash, Easy Day, and Mars, have proven their worth, earning their stripes in the crucible of battle. They fought alongside the legends, not as replacements, but as true Expendables. They showed bravery, skill, and an unwavering commitment to the mission. Their baptism by fire forged a new kind of camaraderie, different from the old guard, but just as strong. The clink of their weapons being secured, the soft murmur of their conversations, speak of a new chapter for the team. A passing of the torch, perhaps, but with the old guard still very much in the game. Even Gunner, with his unique brand of enthusiasm, looks a little more grounded, a little more appreciative of the team he almost lost. The quiet hum of the ship's generators, slowly restoring power, feels like the pulse of a world given a second chance, a quiet testament to their sacrifice and resilience. What makes Expend4bles special, despite its occasional rough edges, is its unapologetic embrace of pure, unadulterated action cinema. It's a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, yet delivers on its promise of high-octane thrills, spectacular explosions, and bone-crunching fights. It reminds us that sometimes all you need is a group of larger-than-life heroes saving the world with fists and firearms. It's a nostalgic nod to a genre that thrives on spectacle, offering a blast of adrenaline and a few good laughs along the way.